We're joined now by Texas Senator Roland Gutierrez. He represents Uvalde. Senator, as you know, the shooter had just purchased these 2 rifles, the ammunition, right at his 18th birthday. What do we do to try to curb this?
Well, Lindsay, that's what I've been talking about all day long. I mean, at the end of the day, how an 18-year-old was able to get 2 guns in a span of 3 days over the counter legally, that happens, unfortunately, here in Texas. We can pass laws within the state legislature to have restrictions on that kind of activity, but the Republican-controlled legislature has not allowed that session after session. It's my hope that this kind of disaster, this kind of tragedy, sheds some light on this.
And we saw the gubernatorial candidate Beto O'Rourke really take on the current governor, Abbott, here in Texas today. When the legislature resumes, what kind of action will you try to take?
So in the past, I filed red flag bills. You know, this kind of activity that happened here with this young man, that might have changed things. That bill didn't see the light of day because the Republican-controlled Congress didn't allow that to come up on the floor. We're going to continue to file those bills, but we need people to go out and vote. We need people to demand change. I'm not trying to take anybody's guns away. This is Texas, and I understand this. My district is a very rural district, lots of ranchers, lots of hunters. I get that. I'm a hunter myself, but I don't hunt with an AR-15. How we let young men have access to this type of militarized weaponry is beyond me. Something has got to change.
And many people, as you've heard, they're saying, look, he was 18, not old enough to buy a beer, but old enough to buy an assault rifle. Is that something that you might consider, changing the age?
Absolutely. Changing the age, red flag laws, waiting periods. Those are all things that Greg Abbott can put on his agenda if he wanted to. Instead, time and tragedy after tragedy, he comes back and says the same thing. Mental illness, evil. Yeah, we get all that. We understand that. Number one, do more on the mental illness side in Texas. We're down at the bottom 10. And number two, we can control the kind of disasters that happen, these types of tragedies, when young men don't have access to militarized weaponry. That needs to happen now.
What do you say to those who argue in times like this is when we need guns so that we can protect ourselves, self-defense?
So this morning I sent my little girls off to school. I hugged them. I didn't want to let them go. Right. We just heard from Ms. Ramirez. I'd tell those people, put yourself in these 19 family shoes. Kiss your baby to school tomorrow. Don't expect to see him back. Then ask yourself what kind of change needs to happen.
Aside from gun control, what else can be done in order to try to stop these mass shootings?
Listen, I mean, that's it. I mean, it's certainly mental health, for sure. In 2019, we passed school hardening legislation that the Republicans were so proud of. That young man walked through the back door of this school unfettered. Without a problem, he was able to access and maim these poor children. There is only one thing that can be done that would guarantee that this doesn't happen again. That's an assault weapons ban at the federal level, and at the state level, certain restrictions that would eliminate the accessibility of militarized weapons that are used in the field of battle. I'm not talking about your .270 that you go hunt with. We're talking about weapons that are used in the field of battle. We need to do that.
This is your community. You've been talking to people, including Ms. Ramirez. How do you feel people are coping up and what are you saying to them?
We're here to help. You know, I'm trying to bring as many resources that we can from the state agencies into Uvalde. What we learned from Sutherland Springs, 40 miles from my home, is that this is just an ongoing process. We still have bereavement counselors in Sutherland Springs 2 years after that incident. This is not something that's going to end for this community when all the cameras leave. 19 beautiful little babies are gone. 2 wonderful teachers. When are we going to start doing something real and demanding real change? When is the Republican-controlled Congress in Texas going to do something?
All right, Senator, we thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.